friend!
Hello, friend.
And hello, friends listening. Welcome to the Lost Girls podcast. I am one of your hosts, Neva.
And I am your other host, Maria.
And if you're used to listening to us and you're like, wow, Neva's voice sounds weird, we had some hella storms the last 2 days and brought in something, I don't even know what, from Texas or Oklahoma and went straight into my sinuses. And that's happening.
Yeah. And I've just been yelling at my kids all weekend. So I feel like I sound a little like Tom Waits.
Yeah. So I've been coughing because postnasal drip is all the rage in my body right now.
I love it. So sexy. So
I knew you'd like that.
Yeah, I do. I'm totally into it. So our episode today is about the high witchy holiday of Beltane, which is one of my favorites.
I
Neva,
can take it or leave it.
Yeah.
I have my
whatever.
own. I have my own feelings about Wheel of the Year sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I do. Yeah.
I mean, you could tell me about it if you want. You
Yeah.
don't have to.
So I feel like the Wheel of the Year kind of takes from a lot of different, like, Germanic and Gaelic and Celtic and kind of melds it into this one thing, which is cool, and I'm fine with that. It's just never really been my jam, and so my thing is more like moon cycles and spring and summer and fall and winter, the solstices and the equinoxes and things, and like the in-between ones, those are cool too. And I usually am like, oh, hey, that's today. And then I'll just kind of like think about it, be like, cool.
Yeah. I feel like I'm more ambivalent to equinoxes.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm just like, all right, it's an equinox. That's fine. And like I love Samhain, and Beltane is like the sister holiday
Yeah.
to Samhain. It's like
Yeah.
exactly, they're at opposite ends of the year.
Yep.
Um,
We should know this
and-
is Northern Hemisphere.
Northern Hemisphere, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's
So
Beltane,
above,
Beltane for the Northern Hemisphere, and then Samhain is the Southern Hemisphere right now.
right. So Beltane is April 30th into May 1st. So May 1st is technically Beltane. It's May 1st regardless. And it's, the holiday following the spring equinox, just like Samhain is the holiday following the fall equinox. And for those of you that don't know, Samhain is, co-opted as Halloween, the end of October. And so Beltane is the end of April and beginning of May. But yeah, so I think, we all have varying practices in our own witchiness, I guess. But Beltane's been a favorite of mine for a really long time. And I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that my birthday is like 5 days after Beltane.
Yeah, I got to get your birthday gift mailed this week.
It's okay. I started working on yours. I was like, shit, I don't have that much time. I don't know why in my head I was like, oh, I have so much time. I'm like, no, I don't. It's in June. Like,
dude, yours has been done for like a week and it's just like sitting there. I'm like, damn, I know I need to mail that pretty soon. And then literally today I'm like, oh shit, her birthday's in like a week.
I know. And then I had a similar realization. I was like, oh shit, I should really start making Nevas because I'm slow. So, yeah. I did toy with the idea of making you a fluid art thing, and I was like, it's going to look like a preschooler made it because I have no skill in this area.
I would still love it because
Thank
you
you.
made it.
Oh, you're my favorite. All right. So, let's talk about Beltane,
Yeah.
the sexiest of the witchy holidays.
It is very sexy because I don't know a lot about Beltane, so I did some research so I would have some talking points today because
Yeah.
I think Maria can probably just talk about this for hours and hours and hours. But
Guilty.
So, fertility and love and passion.
Yeah, I mean those are the key points.
Yeah.
It's like sex, fertility, sensuality, love. It's like fertile ground, wink wink, nudge nudge.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. What else did your research turn up?
I learned that it's Gaelic, which means that Gaelic is like the Scottish Highlands. So, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's Beltane. Bel is the like god of fire. And
Oh.
then yeah, like or bringer of light, something like that. Which is why it's so typically celebrated with like bonfires. That's like the big thing.
Yeah.
Is having bonfires. And in the good old fashioned olden times, in Scotland and Ireland, if a couple was together and they jumped over the Beltane bonfire on Beltane, they were legally married. Like it was
If they jumped over the Beltane fire on Beltane,
like together holding hands, they were married.
how big
Yeah.
was the fire?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because I mean, if it's a little
It's like-
campfire versus like a giant bonfire,
Yeah, I'm like, are we talking like a pyre where there's like a shit on fire, or is this like a little? It's like, well, you can jump over it if you survive. You'll be married. If not, we'll bury you together.
because if it's a giant ass bonfire, it might just be easier to go down to the courthouse and get a marriage license.
That's awesome. I mean, honestly. Oh
But
my god.
it's a little campfire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, we'll take a little hop over it.
Except I'm so clumsy. I would like trip over myself.
Fall into it. I would 100% do that.
This is the only time I have to jump properly. Falls.
We are creative types. We were not. Well, you were an athlete, but
I was the
Yeah.
nerdy music artsy athlete.
yeah,
But I went to a small school where you could do that.
yeah. I was not that. I wasn't an athlete either. Just to be clear. I mean, I did play football my senior year, but like that was it. But that was more about getting out a lot of angsty teenage rage. That anyway, it doesn't matter. So Beltane, sexy holiday.
What is your favorite part about Beltane?
Oh boy. Okay. I feel like our previous episodes, because we swear. So I have
Yep.
checked the little box
Yeah.
that has said explicit content. And I need to make a disclaimer that if we're talking about Beltane, the box is checked, folks. Okay? We will not only be swearing, we will be talking about sex. So that's not my favorite part of Beltane. But I do enjoy like the fertility of it, and not just like let's get pregnant, because I don't want to do that anymore. I'm good. 2 kids is plenty for me. But it was more like it's a holiday full of potential, which I think is what is my favorite thing about it. And the idea that like 2 people figuratively and literally come together to, seed their ground and their lands and thus make it fertile for, things to grow. It's like I love the idea of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting because it is around the time that people would start planting gardens and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a big planting. There's a lot of flowers associated with Beltane, any yellow and white. Hawthorn, hazel, rowan. I mean, rowan's a white berry, or a red berry. But dandelions in particular.
I love dandelions.
Yeah, me too. I have a yard full.
Me too.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh, the weeds." I'm like, "They're not weeds. I mean, they are, but they're dandelions, and I love them, and the bees love
Oh,
them. So leave
yeah.
them alone."
They
And they're
actually
edible.
they help your soil.
Yeah. So like making a crown out of dandelion flowers is really popular.
Oh, I
Um,
love that.
yeah, that's a like popular Beltane activity. Flower crowns in general are a popular activity. I think the like socialized idea of the May Queen is something that like maybe the majority of people are familiar with. It's like, she's the maiden of the village. She was picked. She wears the flower crown. It was portrayed in the horror movie Midsommar, where I don't know if you saw that, but
I'm not a
um
horror person.
I am not either. I was just gently guided through a horror movie education
I
from
have too
from a
much
part. Yeah,
anxiety for horror movies.
yeah, I
Like
get that.
like
I-
and I didn't realize when I was a teenager, um I didn't understand that is what was happening. And then I got older, I'm like, "Oh, this is called anxiety and a panic attack from watching a
Fun.
horror movie."
Yeah,
That's fun.
yeah. Oof. Yeah. Ooh. So yeah, so the May Queen, she's kind of like she's like the princess of Fae. A lot of times she's represented as like Lady Marian from Robin Hood or Guinevere from any of like the Arthurian
Arthurian.
tales. Yeah. She's a lot of times sometimes represented as like the Blessed Virgin Mary. The month of May in Christianity is like the month that Mary, the Queen, is venerated. She's celebrated for the whole month. And so it crosses many different religions. And again, and we talked about this in previous episodes, where just like pagan traditions seeped into modern religion. But yeah, so it's really about like the coming together of the May Queen and the Green Man, or the horned god Ceranos. And there are rituals that you can do where people play those roles.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah. And so, like some people choose to celebrate with having a bonfire, and you can have a maypole. So we have a maypole in our yard. It was an old tree that was like cut down to just like probably like a 12-foot stump. It's just like 12 feet, and then they just cut it.
Yeah.
So the first year, right after it was cut, I was like, oh, we're gonna use it as a maypole. And the kids and I stripped fabric and we dyed it, and then we nailed it to the top of the tree, and then we, twisted it around and made a maypole. And then a whole year later, the following spring, the tree that had been cut down grew branches just out of the top, and it looked like it grew a crown. And it's like, it still gives me goosebumps like when it blooms in the spring, and it waits until May to bloom. And it's awesome. And like the kids are like, the maypole grew the crown, and I'm like, I know. So
I have to say, in my research, there was a how to celebrate list, and my very favorite of that list was, quote, "Party like you're at an ancient Dionysian ritual."
yes.
Which Dionysus, I had to look it up, is the Greek god of fertility and festivity and ecstasy and wine.
And wine. Yeah. I was like, there's wine in there. I know there's wine in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
it's basically just like indulge in all of your senses. It's
so
like that's
go have like a drunken orgy.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, God. Hell yeah. So that's after I put the kids to bed. So we have like during the day, I'm like nice mommy, and we make flower crowns and we draw runes, and it's wonderful. We have a bonfire and the kids roast things, and then they go to bed. And then the real ritual starts.
The adult fun starts.
The adult fun starts.
But have a walk was also on that list, so I'm like, I think I can fit that into my schedule.
Yeah, do you think you guys could like take a walk and you know.
See where we end up.
See where we end up. I do like that there's a term, it's called going a maying, like to go a maying.
Yeah.
And it literally just means drag your lover into the woods and fuck all night until dawn. That's like the whole, because it's like you're Maydaying. That's what it is.
Not to be confused with going a wassailing.
A wassailing. I don't know that I know what a wassailing is.
I don't know. It's in like a Christmas song.
So is it like jauntily walking down the street singing? It's gotta be, right?
Probably.
It sounds like wailing.
I should understand the context of my jokes before I make them.
It's all good. Someone get in the comments or email us and let us know if you know.
What is a wassail? I feel like I actually learned this. I think a wassail is like a drink. And so if you're going wassailing, then you're going like
drinking in the streets?
Drinking in the streets, perhaps.
I'm into it.
I could also be completely off base, so please no one actually quote me on that.
There's a real big asterisk over wassailing.
I've been coughing all day. I'm tired.
Oh, I am very tired. I understand. Our Sunday nights are we're getting crazy. We're getting crazy on Sunday nights. But I mean, I can tell you more about the rituals if you like.
Yeah. But, maybe the kid version ones are
Neva doesn't want to hear about the sex stuff.
I am not emotionally prepared.
I don't think you are. I will say also, the whole idea of Beltane centered around like male and female energies is very heteronormative.
We could make a special podcast episode that is only for Patreon subscribers.
It's like, we're going to make this video and we're going to talk about how sexy it gets. I love it. Yeah, so this year it's weird because it's like a Tuesday and a Wednesday. Mm-hmm. The 30th and the 1st, which sucks. Like we're working and the kids are in school.
You
and
don't
the
just
night
like
of
take off school for that, take off work.
So, fun story. On Samhain, I tried to take off November 1st, and I was like, it's a religious holiday for me. And our HR department was like, no. And I was like, what do you mean no? And I was like, it's All Saints Day, even in like your shitty Christian religion, like if that's what you wanted. And she was like, it's not a holiday that requires going to church. You can't take it off as a religious holiday.
Shut
I was like,
up.
What? Yeah. So I took it as a sick day, and I was like, fuck all y'all. I know. So because it's I know, because it's not a church holiday. It doesn't require going to a place for a meeting. And I'm like, why does that matter? It's my religion that I celebrate. If I do it in my backyard or if I do it in church, what does it matter?
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I was not happy about it. So I was, I took October 30th and November 1st. I took both of them off as sick days.
Oh, but you went to school on Halloween?
I didn't go to school on Halloween. Nope. I stayed home. Yeah.
All three.
Oh,
of those
31st.
days.
31st. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. 31st. And
I thought
November
you were
1st.
saying you're like, I took off the day before and the day after, but not.
not the day. No. I took off Halloween and then November 1st.
I like that.
Yeah. And, so I was just like, oh man. So I don't know if I'm going to take off the 1st. I'll see how the night before goes.
Yeah.
But probably not, because it's, whatever. But yeah, so we will spend, the day with the kids making flower crowns, and Gemma likes to draw a triple moon on her forehead anytime we do witchy things. And then she wears it to school for like 3 days and she won't let me wash it off. And so anytime her friends like ask her about it, she's like, this is my like witch mark. It's a triple moon. And her teacher is awesome. Her teacher's like, so your mom's a witch. And, you know, Gemma's like, yeah. She's like, that's super cool.
I'm glad her teacher is cool with it because I know some teachers who would lose their fucking shit.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Her teacher's great. She's phenomenal. We love her. Yeah. She's also like super young. So, and just like chill. So I'm like, I think she gets the vibe.
Yeah.
She passes the vibe check. Yeah.
Gemma's vibe check.
Yeah, she definitely passes Gemma's vibe check.
What are you gonna do when she walks into a classroom and looks at the teacher and goes nope and walks right back out?
Because it's gonna be an interesting conversation.
Because what, she's 6?
She's 8. She's in 3rd
8.
grade.
Oh my gosh, she's older than I thought. I just have a feeling that day is coming.
Yeah. Because she just like nopes out of situations with people. Like she'll read a vibe in a split second, and if you don't pass the vibe, you're dead to her. So like it's, I don't know. I'm really hoping that day that she has a teacher like that doesn't come sometime soon. Because it's going to be a problem. It'll definitely be a problem.
You'll get a phone call to come into school.
Yeah. Yeah. Again. Awesome. At least I won't have to pick her up for fighting this time or eating hand sanitizer. So that was fun. That was kindergarten. Yeah. Had to pick up my kindergarten child because she ate hand sanitizer because a boy told her she wouldn't, and boys are dumb. And so she did it to prove him wrong. And then I had to pick her up and she smelled like a tiny alcoholic. And I had to call poison control.
Why did the school not call poison control?
Because the nurse was like, technically, you have to call poison control. And I was like, what? I was like, fine. Yeah.
That doesn't sound right to me,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. The nurse was like, just call. I'm sure she's fine. She didn't like drink the whole bottle. But poison control was like, as long as she's not acting drunk, you're fine. I'm like, good God.
oh my God.
Yeah. Then she beat up a kid in 1st grade and I had to go pick her up then too. Then she tried to lead a revolt in 2nd grade during lunch. Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah.
I love her. She's like the tiny chaos that I wish I had the guts to be.
Yeah, me too, honestly. So yeah, so Beltane. Right.
I love all that.
Yeah, lots of bonfires. Like bonfires and walks are, I think, the most basic level of celebrating that people can do. And picking flowers.
You know, I love the low energy, low effort things. You know, like the mindfulness sort of things. I am not a big ritual kind of person. Something where I have to say a bunch of shit and have a bunch of shit. Like, I'm just like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Not for me.
But I also think that comes down to, like, you are the magic, you know? It's the magic isn't the things, which is something that I'm trying to remind myself of. And, you know, when we were never in a tornado warning last night, but we were in a tornado watch, and there were warnings kind of popping up around, and we have a safe room, and, you know, I had like a bag with a change of clothes or whatever. And as I'm like standing in my room looking at my things, I'm like, well, they're only things.
Yeah.
You know, if the worst shall happen, they are only things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. That was something that was on my mind last night, you know, like the magic isn't the things, the magic is you. And
yeah,
even if all you do is take a walk to the park and, you know, give some thanks for some grass or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I actually literally mean grass from the ground, but, you know, if you mean other grass, then that's fine too.
That's cool too. Yeah.
I don't know. I like the low effort stuff.
Yeah. I am typically a super low effort witch.
Yeah.
Like, I've definitely been like, well, I got a bag of Doritos. That's going to be my offering.
Yeah.
You know? I think Beltane is the only time I've like gone hard.
Yeah.
Um, and with the kids, not like so much. Like they understand the importance of it, and I think they like it too because there's like we're building our own family traditions in that way.
Yeah.
They know that on that day we do that. They get to pick a rune from the rune book, and I put it, draw it on them with eyeliner and then spray it with hairspray so it stays. And they get to like, wear it all day, and then it's, powerful and symbolic for them depending on the one that they chose. However many years ago, my oldest chose Degas, which is like the room of transformation. And that was the year that they had like decided to stop going by he, him pronouns and start going by they, them pronouns. And it was just like a little thing that I really felt gave them just like a little extra courage to do the thing. Yeah, which was cute. And it's, pretty low effort. But they're just like nice traditions that we get to build together. They love the maypole one because it's messy and we, dye fabric and it's, they just think it's fun. And then they get to dance around outside. And like we do a lot of bonfires anyway, so like that's already a thing that's kind of low effort.
So sometimes when I am too busy to even do the low effort things, sometimes I let myself feel like guilty for and so how and like how do you personally, like, if there's something that you want to do and it's important to you and then you're like, I just don't have the time or the energy to do anything, like how do you like keep from feeling bad about that?
Oh man. It's so hard. I think
like I haven't done a fuller new moon art in like 2 months.
Yeah.
And that really bums me out.
Oh, I'm sorry that it bumps you out. Yeah. But I think not having the energy is a sign that like you shouldn't feel guilty, you should rest. Yeah. That's usually, it's like if I don't have the energy to do the things that like this is the thing I enjoy doing and I like it for my own personal practice and for my own personal reliefs and I still don't have the energy for it, then what I need is rest. Yeah. And it's hard. It's harder when your kids are expecting activities. It's like if they woke up on Christmas morning and there were no presents and it was like, mommy was tired, fucking suck it up. But we'll do like the basics. Like they know where the rune book is. They can pick one out. I'll draw it on them with that. Like that's like the basics of what we'll do.
Yeah.
And there have been years where like it's raining and so we can't have a bonfire. So we'll just light some candles when we eat mac and cheese in front of the TV. And you know what? That's our bonfire. And it's going to have to be okay.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So I think just recognizing that instead of feeling guilty, it's like feel what it's trying to tell you.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's awesome advice, Maria.
Oh, well, thanks.
You're good at advice.
Oh my God. I'm turning pink. Thanks, Neva.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, do we want to wrap up that portion? Maybe pull a card or something? Or we
can pull a card.
Because I think
Yeah. The only I just wanted to briefly touch on, and I won't get into any of the specifics of the, because I know it's fine. We'll save it for the Patreon. Of the adult video, there is a ritual that can be done that I have done in the past, where people play the horned god and the maiden, and the horned god like chases the maiden around the bonfire until he catches her, and then stuff.
Fill in the blanks.
Fill in the blanks yourself, adults. But I have done some version of that maybe for the last 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that partner I was no longer with. And so Beltane this year was giving me a lot of anxiety and stress.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I can totally see that though.
Yeah, because it was like, okay, well, this is the thing I've done in the past, and now I can't do that.
Right.
So now what do I do? Um, and I think I found a new fun way to celebrate where we're forging new paths and partnerships, but I will take comfort from the things that, we do with our family and that'll be good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can totally see how that would cause some anxiety.
Yeah.
So that's a very valid feeling there.
Yeah.
But
Thank
I'm
you.
glad you're welcome. But I'm glad you're finding new ways to go forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're just validating each other all over the place.
I know. This is so great. This is like a therapy session. So anyone who's listening, I'm glad you get to watch this happen in real time.
Because we don't plan this out in advance. We say, hey, we're going to talk about this, and then we talk about it.
We really don't. I can't stress to you how little we plan.
I mean, we decide what we're going to talk about a few days in advance.
That's true. And then we take notes. That's enough. That's enough. Yeah, whatever.
Otherwise,
all right.
If it was too scripted, then it'd be, I don't know.
I agree. It wouldn't be this. That's for sure. All right. Do we think it's time to pull a card?
Let's pull a card.
Let's do it. All right.
Maria's pulling a card today.
I am pulling a card from the Woodland Wardens Oracle deck from Jessica Rue. It is super pretty. She's an amazing illustrator. I just absolutely love her stuff. She wrote a book about like the different meanings of flowers, and she has a really cool like newsletter that goes out. But here we go. So the card I picked is the Ladybug and Sweet Pea. So every oracle card is an animal and a plant partnership, and then like what that represents. And so the ladybug and the sweet pea represent happiness. And
that's beautiful.
I know. It's just so adorable.
I love that for our Beltane episode.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Fun fact, my sister is terrified of ladybugs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my, I have a sister who's terrified of butterflies. Oh my, guys, they're like the gentlest bugs.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well,
everyone's got their thing.
Yeah.
So there we go. So that's our card. Neva.
Yes.
What's bringing you joy this week?
Okay. So here's what's bringing me joy. And it's something that was slightly disappointing, but I turned into a positive. Because we were under a very high severe weather threat this weekend, I had 2 shows that I was really counting on cancel. But what that ended up meaning was I had 2 full entire days where I did not have to do anything unless I wanted to do it. And what it kind of made me realize was that I have been making myself way too busy and not giving myself nearly enough time off. And so even though I was really counting on those 2 shows and the income I would make from them, I got to learn a lesson. And I
about rest.
About rest.
Yeah.
And I got to spend some quality time with my wife, and it was just really nice and enjoyable and slow and chill, and it was what I needed. It wasn't what I thought I wanted, but it was definitely what I needed.
That's awesome. I'm so glad you got some downtime.
Me too.
Yeah, I know how busy you've been. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, downtime is so important.
What is bringing you joy, Maria?
Oh boy. It's a very good question. Beltane coming up is bringing me joy. Also, my birthday. I this year I'm struggling with my birthday because my birthday is May 6th,
Mm-hmm.
and my father passed away a year ago on the 5th.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, honey.
Yeah. And we were really close. He was like my default family member.
Yeah,
It's my like mother and sisters that I'm no contact with.
yeah.
But him and I were always super close. And I'm like trying to balance I'm turning 40. He would be so happy and here to celebrate with it's the 1 year anniversary that he died. And I know it's some kind of like cosmic joke that he died like the day before my birthday, where, you know, if he could have planned it any better, he would have. And it seems like a weird thing to say that it's bringing me joy, but it's just thinking about him more often during this time of year that brings me joy. So trying to stay positive in something that might not be so positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grief takes many forms.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It's taken a lot of different forms over this past year. So resignation and acceptance is it's a good place to finally be. So
That's good.
yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. I think we're, coming into a good fertile spring season. And
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, me too.
We're finally getting our April showers for the May flowers.
We had so many April showers. I had to go on a hike this morning for Cub Scouts and it was muddy. Yeah.
But was it fun?
My daughter had fun.
That's the important part.
Yeah, no, I had fun. It was fun. She just wants to do all of the outdoor things and she loves Cub Scouts. So
I can see that.
Yeah, all that chaos needs a place to go. So, anyway, thank you everyone for listening to our podcast.
Yeah.
This week.
I hope it was informative as well as entertaining.
I think we do hope for that more often, but
we did take a few side quests on the way.
Yeah, I mean, we're full of side quests. I think that's what makes us great, but that's okay. Anyway, please go and like and subscribe to all of our social thingies, Facebook and Instagram and a Patreon if you want to see our just gorgeous, stunning faces.
By the way, Maria's hair is fire right now. So,
I mean, I had a blowout this morning. So, like, I'm not going to lie, it looks real good. And it will continue to look this way for a week because I won't wash it. Yeah.
Yep.
So, because you get to do that when you have naturally curly hair. But, yeah. So go ahead, subscribe to our Patreon, and you can see how fire my hair looks and how hard Neva has tried not to cough into the microphone this episode.
It has been a struggle. Had to mute it a couple times.
Yeah. I think we did all right.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you, friends. We'll see you later.
Friends. Bye.